Hi everybody, it's Lin-E and Rosie, and we are the Campfire Girls, and we're snowed in again here in Missouri. It's getting pretty old, really. It's cold today. It's really cold. It's like 0. I don't like it. Rosie really doesn't like it. Good thing she's got a good buddy. If you do have a problem with your small puppies like Rosie here, if you put a tarp down before the snow starts, and then when it stops, you just yank that tarp off, you have grass. That's what Kirby does for her. He's so sweet. He's sweet to her. Isn't he? He's your buddy. Where's Kirby? Where's Kirby at? Where'd Kirby go? Is he gone? Yeah. He's out cutting wood in this temperatures, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah. We've just been practicing on the guitar and trying to stay warm. I hope all you people down in, oh man, Arkansas is getting hit pretty bad right now. Hope y'all are warm and safe. And this is all going down into Florida. I don't know if you watched, if you're new to my channel, my last video I was talking about how I was going to be going to Florida this week, and I don't think so. This snowstorm is not traveling weather for me. It's too cold. But anyway, I was also today, I was supposed to get new shoes for Van Halen, so I had to put that off. We were getting new shoes on there. So we'll have to do that. Hopefully, I rescheduled it for tomorrow. So hopefully we'll get up there and be able to get out. This snow isn't as bad as the last one. The last one there was ice under the snow, and I couldn't get out of here. My driveway is like, I don't know, way back off of the road. So I'm like back here in Rosie's cabin. We're pretty secluded. We like it. Don't we, honey? Anyway, I'm going to let you go back down, okay? You say bye, everybody. Bye, everybody. Oh, I'll let her sit on my lap. Anyway, today I think I wanted to kind of talk to you about being snowed in. But no, I'm just going to make a video on my disability and how it happened, and try and get everybody to not do what I did, which was very stupid. And it was a rope swing on a float trip. And this was years ago. I was, I think, almost 37 when I did it. And I did not get out far enough, so one of my feet hit the embankment, and that's how I crushed my heel in about 50 pieces. And it was awful. I was down on the Niagara River here in Missouri, and we were on a float trip. So, I mean, it was just our canoe and then another canoe. So, it was just a weekend trip. So, I don't think we were even camping that weekend. But anyway, long story short, they ended up having to put an external fixator on it, and I've got the pin still, but I'm not going to show you because it's kind of gross. But anyway, they put I had one through the very top of my foot, and one through my heel, and then two like between my, it's like through my, like where my ankle's at. So, and I was supposed to wear that for I think 6 weeks. I ended up only doing 3 or 4. One of the pin sites got infected very, very bad, and they had to take it off early. But I didn't walk for almost, almost a year. When I did, I had crutches and stuff like that. I had to learn how to walk all over again. I can't run. I can. I remember when I thought I looked like running and my kids were laughing at me. Anyway, I was young. I was only, So that's what happened. And then at first, and then, so don't do rope swings unless you know how deep it is and all that. But yeah, wasn't a very smart idea on me. I've done 2 rope swings in my life. That was my second one. My first one was when I was a kid. And I told you in my first video how my mom would always send us to camps. Well, this was actually at camp during the summer. And we were doing a rope swing and a thing of hay off of a chicken coop. And I went straight down that time too. I should have remembered that. I don't do them very well. So anyway, yeah, my whole heel was like blew out of my foot. It was like hanging to the side. But anyway, it was a bad deal. And it hurt like I was on, I'll never forget, I was in the hospital. And that thing just felt like, I don't know, it was terrible on your foot. And it was so painful. And I remember that I was on morphine for the pain in the hospital. And a nurse was waking me up because I was literally grabbing the asphyxiator trying to get it off my foot. I was hallucinating. I was on a pontoon boat. And I was going to sink with it, and I was trying to rip it out of my foot. So I don't like the morphine thing. It's not a good. Ugh. It does take away the pain. But I think then it went through. Like I said before, I was a realtor and showed houses and all that, and I was showing on crutches, always worked. And I'd go down the steps on my bottom, and until I could walk again. And then, I don't know, it was like 2 years later, it started really hurting again. And I'd go to the doctor, and he put me on Celebrex, like for arthritis, and that didn't do any good. And he goes, well, you need to get a bone scan. So I went and got a bone scan, and he sent me up to Kansas City to the bone and joint pain clinic. And by this time, my foot had gotten so big I couldn't even walk on it. It was so swollen, and I was on crutches again. And I went in there with that bone scan. I got there about 8 in the morning, and handed it to him, waited forever, and this doctor comes in. It was a female, I'll never forget, and she was probably with me 5 minutes, max. And they were already putting me off for 2 more weeks. To go to some other doctor. I don't even remember now what it was. All I knew is that I could not survive 2 more weeks in this pain and with my foot like it is. I just knew something was wrong, and nobody would tell me anything. So they were sitting down. I was sitting down there with them, and they were doing the appointment, and everything in my head's just like, I can't do this. There's no way I can wait 2 more weeks to get something done with my foot. And so I said, you know what? I want my bone scan. Give it back to me. And I'm going to go down and I'm going to talk to my doctor and see what I need to do. And of course they argued with, oh no, we're trying to help. I said, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not really trying to help me. And I said, I'm in pain now. I need something done now. I can't wait 2 more weeks. So give me my bone scan, and it was almost like they wouldn't even let me get out of there, But anyway, I got the bone scan and left, and I just walked into my doctor's office. I mean, I wasn't even in, I was in the waiting room bawling. I was crying, and I was going, I've got a bone scan. I need to see Dr. Miller and all this. And he saw me, actually, and I got right in, and he had me admitted with an IV by 1 o'clock that day. And I didn't even live up in Kansas City, so I had to drive up, drive back, go to his office, and it took them a week of testing, of blood testing. They had to put the line in me because they couldn't get any more IVs in my arms. But they found out it was hospital staff that had gotten into my bone of my foot, where that pin site was. So I wasn't a very happy camper, and I'm trying to remember how could that have happened? Was I on antibiotics after the surgery, or if that would have even helped? I don't know, but it just didn't feel right. And so they went in. I was so scared. They went in, and they had to go in and drain the bone and drill on the bone and drain all that infection out of the bone, get all the infection they could out of my site and right out of my foot, and then stitch it back up. And that surgery took place when I was 39, I do believe. I was trying to add it up back in the day when I had that done. It was a very bad decade in my life. And that was just one more thing that happened, I also went through menopause then, early. So you take anything on with menopause and you're blah. Yeah. So anyway, I know, guys, you don't really understand that. But if you're married and you've been through with a woman that's going through menopause, I think you do understand. It's not a fun thing. But anyway, I was lucky. I only went through it for about a year or so. So it's one thing good about it. Anyway, so I learned how to walk again, but that's why I said this last doctor that I went to wanted to fuse it, and I don't want to go through that. There's a risk of getting that infection back, and then my foot I wouldn't be able to bend it or anything. I mean, I just don't understand why that's all they can do. If there's nothing between like the heel and the ankle bone, and that ankle, you can see it. There's just no cartilage or nothing. It's just bone on bone. And, kind of like the gel shot I got in my knee. Why can't they do that gel shot in there? I don't understand it. Why can't they cushion that a little bit more? It doesn't make sense to me. But supposedly, I was talking to, my doctor now that's helping me with my knee. Well, FDA hasn't approved it. So, if FDA doesn't approve it or anything, the insurance isn't going to cover it. So, I could pay for it. I can't pay for it. I can't afford to have that done myself. I wish I could. I probably would. It's worked very well on my knee. I'm so thankful for that. And this is February, and I can go get another one this month in my knee, but it's still doing okay. So you gotta wait there 6 months or something. But I'm just so thankful because it was very painful too. And it was actually being more painful than my foot. So, anyway, what I really wanted to tell you though, I kind of wanted to describe how I got disabled. And I didn't even go for disability. I mean, I still worked on it for years, and, after I was a realtor, I went to work for a community action agency, and I was a housing counselor, and I literally loved doing that work so much more than being a realtor. Of course, I got my insurance, and it was okay paying job. I mean, it wasn't nothing, write home about, but it was secure for me being single, and I loved having the insurance. I needed it for my foot, my teeth, everything, and I got to travel. I did. I got to travel. I went to schooling. The first one was in Washington, So I got to see the Capitol and all of that. It was just Washington, D.C. And it was just wonderful. And that was for just the housing counseling part of, you know, gosh, it's been so long. I mean, I was already a realtor for 20 years, so then I went in, and I was so lucky to get that job, being how I was 50. But anyway, I worked with a lot of first-time home buyers, you know, and I counseled them on buying the home and how to get their loans and stuff like that, and what to look for when they're buying their home, you know. Which I still love to talk. You know, when I was in real estate, I loved being a buyer's agent. I love to help buyers, you know, and to me, being in real estate, you know, I loved what I learned about real estate and using it for yourself and all that. But, you know, when I lived in a very small town, so it was very, very competitive, and I'm just not a backstabber. You know, I'm not going to go after people's people and all that stuff. And it was just, I just got a bad taste in my mouth. You know, if I was in a big city, which I would never live in to begin with, it probably would have been great. You know, probably would have made a lot of money in it too. But in a small town with, you know, I don't know how many realtors there were, but it was plenty, let me tell you. And I got burned a lot, and from people that were supposed to be your friends and stuff like that. And it just, now, but I did like working with the first-time home buyers and helping them find a good home, you know, and steering them in the right direction of a good lender that would help them actually help them, you know. And I still, to this day, the lender I always is still working today. So if you want to get her name, just get, you know, comment on my video. Very good loan officer, very good. And that's pretty much, buyer's agency came out about the same time that I got my license, actually, in Missouri anyway, you know, show me. But and all it is, you know, you represent the buyer. You know, you can work for them, and it was, to me, it made sense, because that's who you really worked with anyway, you know. So if you're out there and you are wondering, you know, about buying a home or have questions or anything, just put it in the comments. I'll help you. You know, no big deal. I'd love to. Got a lot of advice on buying and selling. I used to do a lot of buying and selling, remodeling, flipping houses, things like that. I love that. That's probably one thing I like the most too. I love to decorate. And when I went around and asked everybody, you know, what do you think I'm good? Oh, you could take anything and make it a home, you know. Anyway, I kind of got off the subject. So anyway, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to get to, though. I went into counseling, and then I also did, let's see, I went to Washington, D.C. for that training. Okay, so that was awesome. I did that, and then just when I got done doing that, funding stopped for the housing counseling part of the action agency. So I got laid off. Yeah. So I went, that's when I actually moved back to Colorado for a little while, not very long. And I went I got a job before I even moved out there, an interview, and it was with doing, it was right after, you know, everybody was losing their homes, you know, and the interest rate, you know, the banks kind of messed everybody up. And they were doing loan modifications to save the homes, you know, because everybody's losing their homes. You know, they've done that, 3-year loan where they refinanced everything, all their debt into their home, and they appraised the homes way too high and gave them these loans, and then when the interest rates changed, they couldn't afford the payment. So there were so many repos, bank repos. So we were doing a lot of loan modifications on the loans, and so I ended up actually going in. I was working for the lenders that were doing the modifications. I actually met the lady that hired me, was a lady that I was talking to over the phone, getting one done for a client. It was so funny. Anyway, small world, you know. So anyway, I kind of did a full circle there with that, and I liked doing that. That was fun. I mean, I love working with people, and so anyway, I went out there and did that. But I had new grandbabies being born back here, so I came back home, or back to Missouri, and well, right when I got back, there was an opening in the housing for the housing specialists, which is when you do the paperwork for the tenants that were going on Section 8 housing and getting the vouchers. So I got a job right back out where I was, and knew all the ladies, wonderful, wonderful ladies. None of them work there anymore. It's all changed, you know. But so I got my job back there, and loved it. But this time, I got to go to Oregon too, because I learned how I passed the reverse mortgage counseling, and I did that also, and that is one of my favorite things I've ever done in my life. I loved it. I loved counseling the seniors to see if they really wanted to do and helping them explain what the reverse mortgage is, you know, and if they should or if they shouldn't do it, if they want to do it. It was kind of hilarious. My first couple I counseled were, the house was paid for, they had no children. You know, yeah, they just wanted the money back so they could travel. You know, I mean, in some instances, it's a great loan. And in some instances, it's not. It just depends on your life, your situation, and what you want to do. You know, but I just love helping seniors. And then when I started doing the Section 8 program, I loved doing it too. I loved working with them and letting them understand, you know, trying to help them, you know, with their expenses and everything. And then after that, I got into doing there was an opening for inspector. And so I started doing inspecting. Basically, I started doing it because my daughter and her daughter, my granddaughter, was moving in with me, and I needed to make more money. So I started doing that, and the action agency that I worked at was over 9 counties in Missouri. So there's a lot of traveling involved in it and stuff like that, and I would probably inspect maybe up to 15 units a day, and that's pretty much where was the end of my foot. That's pretty much what did it. That and it got stepped on, but that's another thing. But after that, if it gets stepped on, or if it gets hit, if I hit it on a chair or something, it instantly turns into this huge hematoma on my foot. But anyway, so much information. So anyway, but the inspections were, oh my gosh, you talk about, there's some stories there. Ooh. But it was a lot of work. And I still did the counseling too, and I still did, or the paperwork. I was still a specialist and an inspector. And we worked 4 10-hour days, and they changed and I enjoyed it though. I really did. I loved working with people, the seniors mainly, always the seniors. You know, when I'd go to inspect their units, they were the best, the most well-mannered. They tried to have it cleaned for you, you know, all that stuff. And it was just, you know, some of them, it was just so sad. You just didn't want to leave. You wanted to just stay there and talk to them, you know. But I'm glad I did all those life experiences, you know. I learned so much, you know, and it's hard to say. But when I finally could not do that anymore, and I got stepped on accidentally, and it was swollen again, you know, huge. I was back on crutches again, and this was when I actually I filed for disability, and I did it by myself. I didn't get a lawyer. All I did was I did everything they said to do. You know, I looked it up online. I got all my medical records. I filled out all their forms. I did everything that it said to do, and I sent it in. And I'm gonna say it wasn't that long, and they called me for the doctor's appointment or whatever to meet me. And then I'll never forget it. My niece was in the hospital and intensive care. She'd had an aneurysm, and she survived. But I ran up there and I spent the night with her so everybody else could go home and take a rest, you know, get some sleep. And Kirby, I was with Kirby, my boyfriend. He called me, and I was actually staying with him at the time. We lived together for a while, and he said, "There's a letter here." So I had him open it up, and I was approved. So I got my disability, and it was pretty much, so I've been on disability, I think this was in 17. So that was 8 years ago. So I was 55. And it was very, very hard for me to stop working at the age of 55. I was miserable. Everybody thinks, oh, wow, you know. No. I didn't know what to do with myself, you know. It was just, oh my gosh. So, luckily though, my kids are having babies, so I got to watch them when they were little, and that was good. That was fine when they were babies before they could go into daycare and school and stuff. So I was available to do that. So maybe that was God's plan. I don't know, but disability it's SSDI. Of course, I paid in for years, you know. So as long as you pay in, you know, I don't feel bad about getting it back out. So, but I would wish I could do something else. But now I have her, and I don't think I could leave. Now, if I could do something from home, you know, I would do that. And the job I did go do, though, it was funny. And I'm just talking and talking. If, you know, I hope you stay with me through it. But when I did go back and do that one job, it was it was a call center. So, I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just that my foot hanging down that long, because when I'm here, I put it up. I always have my foot elevated. And it wasn't long after I'd gotten the disability, but I found this part-time job. It was supposed to be part-time, and I was working in the call center, and it was for out-of-state child support. And so I went into training, and I said, I can't work more than part-time. And it was fine. It was very hard to do, if you ask me. I mean, the people were not friendly on the phone, and you kind of had to really not lose your cool with them, and I didn't think I did. I guess maybe sometimes I might have the wrong tone in my voice, but I don't mean to, you know. But sometimes when you're getting yelled at when it's not your fault and they won't listen to you about what's going on, you know. And I just say, well, this is all I can tell you. You know, call back, and you know, there's a certain amount of time. You tell them to call back. We'll check again. You know, and you just really get screamed at and yelled at, and I know they're hurting. You know, but you got to understand when the person that runs to the other state, they're doing that for a reason, so they don't have to pay child support, so they don't get caught. And once, you know, we find them and we start taking, you know, their child support out of their wages, they'll quit their job and run again. I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. And, I mean, it wasn't that, I mean, I could have kept doing it. I mean, it was an interesting job, but it was the hours. They wouldn't, I just wanted to go, you know, I had to drive quite a ways to get to the job, and then sitting with my foot down all day long. Well, when I was there, I mean, it was not worth it to me. And it was, they had me coming in about every day, but just a small amount of time. It was, it was different. It was just different. But, I learned a lot. We keep learning, don't we, as we get older, don't we? Anyway, but it's a nice snowy day here. I'm going to get off here. I just wanted to talk to everybody about my disability and make them understand that I'd mentioned it, you know, in my previous videos. And you know, if you've got any questions about how I got the disability on my own, or if I can help you in any way, if you feel like you're having a hard time getting your disability, I don't know, you know, this was, like I said, 8 years ago, right at 8 years ago when I finally got it, and it didn't even take me, I'm thinking it didn't take me 7 months to get it done. Of course, you know, it was pretty obvious that I was disabled, you know, but I wanted to work too. It just got to where I couldn't, especially with what I did, you know, showing houses and inspecting homes and stuff like that. So, but I would like to do something from home, but now I don't want to leave her. She doesn't do well with that at all. You know, she was a rescue, and she was not abandoned, but they gave her up. And so she hangs on to me pretty tightly. If we meet up, you know, along the campfire, hopefully soon, you're going to realize that if I get to meet you someday. But you'll see her, because she's going to be there, aren't you, honey? Yeah, yeah. Is you a good girl? Is you a good girl? Does you want a treat? Does you want a treat? Oh, you want a treat, don't you? Yeah, I want a treat. You say, give me a treat, Mom. You say, give me a treat. Yeah. And yes, her tongue does hang out all the time. It's not because she's missing teeth down there. They're really tiny. I do clean her teeth. Yeah, we have to do teeth first. Teeth first. She doesn't like it, though. She don't like to do her teeth first. No. And she don't like to get her toenails done. But I groom her, too. I don't let her go into the groomers, because it breaks my heart. I think I did it once, and she's too scared. She don't want me leaving her. So I learned how to groom, and YouTube did that too. I gotta love YouTube. I learned how to groom on YouTube, and I do her nails, which is something that was the last thing I did. So I learned how to do her ears. So I buy the stuff to clean her ears. I even do the anal glands. Pretty tough if you do the anal glands. And what she has to have done. Poor little thing. And then, but the nails was the last thing. And boy, she's got her thumbs, you know. And one thing I learned about them, if you don't ever get them taken out, because that's part of their hand. It's kind of like cutting off a toe of your foot, you know, and it's not a good thing to do. And I know a lot of people, breeders, I think, have that done, and they also cut their tails, which her little tail was cut. Poor little thing. So I grow the hair out to make it look like she has an actual tail, but, and I know it was all for the show, but you know, she didn't get shown. She didn't have to have her tail cut off. Poor little girl. Anyway, yeah, she's a trooper. I put her down a potty pad this morning because it was like, you know, ooh, so cold. No, she has to go outside. She's a good girl. Okay, well, we'll let you go. Thank you for tuning in on my little chat here. I don't know if that was any interest to you, but I thought I'd throw it out there today. And if you guys are in any situation like that or have any comments on having problems with getting it or have any questions at all, please comment and I'll get right back with you. And please stay warm and stay inside if you can. Arkansas gals down there, I know you're getting a lot of snow, so please be safe. Peace out.